Thank you very much. Second time here on stage and looking in so many expectant eyes. So hopefully it's not about I'm standing between you and the lunch break. So probably we have an interesting topic and some interesting facts for you. And just to make the time useful, I just really want to start directly into it. And because we can't provide any facts about crypto crime, so you are probably interested in to read our current and recent crypto crime report we recently published in February. So, and therefore we have done it, or we will make it easy for you just to scan the QR code, and you will directly land on the page where you can register and download the report. So, but now let's start. So, the myths and truths. So many things around crypto. So somebody probably has a mind share that crypto is all, in German we tell it Teufelszeug, it's all related to crime. So that's not really true, because the facts are speaking really a different number. So you see for 2022, and that's the time frame, so the year we have covered within our latest report, we have 20.6 billion US dollars worth of criminal activity based on the blockchains and the assets we, Chainanalysis, are screening and analyzing. So 20.6 billion out from different categories. But that means, at the end, measured on the overall share, it's only 0.24% of criminal activity. That doesn't mean at the end you don't have to care about it, because it's just a small portion and a small fraction of the overall value. You should have, or you must care about it, because if you're tapping into the pitfalls of criminal activity, you probably lose reputation. Even if you do it once, you can lose all of your reputation, and therefore you have to avoid to tap into that area of criminality. And the criminals, they are not standing still. They are also dynamic, as all the crypto environments are dynamic. So they are learning. They know that we are doing blockchain analytics. They know what we are screening. And therefore, we, in every time, developing new technologies, new analytic models, new behavioral analytics to understand what they are doing, to show patterns, to analyze patterns where we know that is criminal related. So what we also see is that we have a big shift into the direction of DeFi. So in my panel, which I had in the morning, I already spoke about a little bit about DeFi. So even if DeFi is very transparent, because everything is settled on the blockchain, every transaction is visible on the blockchain, you have no off-chain approaches in DeFi, we have a high vulnerability in DeFi. So DeFi is based on software, and software is vulnerable. So you have to make sure, if you go into the DeFi world, that everything possible is set up and done, that this vulnerability doesn't lead to criminal activities, and that anybody outside of your company is able to steal any kind of coins or things, or make the protocol corrupt or the smart contract corrupt. So there are some basic information. So there are some truths, there are some myths, and now we dig deeper with my lovely colleague Minh, because she can really dig into that topic. So she came from an investigator approach and know how to do it, and can provide some more interesting facts around that. So Minh, how money laundering works on blockchains. So what is the answer on that?
Well, it's working great, but I'm not allowed to say that actually. I'm very happy to be here. I was told I don't have much time, so I will try to keep it short. But I'm very happy that I could work or had the chance to work with my great research team in the past few weeks on money laundering in NFT. And this is what I want to show you today as well. So before we start with that, I'm talking a little bit about money laundering itself. We know the fiat world, how incriminated funds are being generated, they are obfuscated, obviously by layering them somewhere in structures, and then they try to integrate it into real life, into the real life world. When we talk about NFTs, they are doing that on chain. So what they have to do is on-ramp the fiat currency, first of all, into cryptocurrency. From there on, they purchase NFTs. And of course, there's a pattern in that. With wash trading, they buy it from themselves. After that, they off-ramp that, the value of NFT, they sell it at an exchange, and then they transfer it into fiat again. And what they can say then is that the NFT is actually, we all know that, something of an individual value, like a Mona Lisa, just in the digital world. So what they actually made through selling NFT would be explainable by the rising of the prices. How does off-ramping and on-ramping function? We all know the fiat world, just a huge, I think, a very good overview. What we do is we look into all the transaction data on-chain, on the blockchain. So we cannot actually see what happens in the fiat world, and the on-ramping and off-ramping activity that's also not actually on-chain. But everything that you see in the huge block over there, that's visible to us, and we are analyzing the data because we are the data platform for blockchains. So money laundering, processing money laundering in the history of how suspects misused it. We were starting off with fiat currencies, we all know that from history. A diversity of company constructs, money mule accounts on fiat, then sometime about 2008, 2009-ish, Satoshi came up with a great idea, which I'm a very huge fan of. He came up with Bitcoin, and then it exploded, right? Because suspects, they do know what to do if it comes to obfuscating value itself. And it all went on to blockchain. And we all also know that a lot of companies started their activity on-chain as well, exchanges, services of any kind of sorts. And now we have a lot of money laundering processes. If the suspect is really very smart, he's using all of that, right? So coming to wash trading in NFTs. We all know what an NFT is, I suppose. Today I'm talking about NFT 1155 and NFT 721. So we are talking about the Ethereum blockchain. I already told you they are unique in themselves, NFTs. There's a small difference between 1155 NFTs and 721. In the next few slides, I'm talking about NFT 1155s. How does it look like if you're doing wash trading on-chain? So you have the seller's address. It's named in this graph as seller's address, and he's using OpenSea to actually sell and buy NFTs. And what we see on-chain is, or what you have to know, is because we are trading on Ethereum blockchain, for each transaction in NFT, disregarding minting processes, but for each transaction on NFT, you have to pay a so-called gas fee, a transaction fee in the native currency, which is Ether for the Ethereum blockchain. So what do you see here? The activity is a lot larger than just these 4 transactions, right? But the seller of the NFT, he's funding some wallets. And these wallets, or wallet addresses, they are then buying the NFTs from the seller. So he's funding his own buying process of the NFT. And he's not just doing that like 1, 2, 3, or 4 times, because we were researching on these behavioral patterns. He was doing that a lot of times. So first of all, we just regarded 2 months of a time span, and we already saw activity in the thousands. So he bought and sold thousands of times the same NFTs.
And just to make sure, the right picture is not created by ChatGPT. This is something you then see on our tool Reactor, so you can follow that behavior.
Yes. Obviously, we did the automation with a dashboard because the data is there, and we made that, we created the dashboard to make it faster, to analyze faster. So what do you see in the pie chart? The pie chart shows about 4,500-ish transactions in Ether, the native token on Ethereum, and just half of the transactions, like 2,300-ish transactions on NFT itself. What does it say? I just told you the suspect, he funded his wallet addresses himself. So obviously, this is one behavioral heuristic because he has to pay twice, right? First of all, he has to fund his own buying address. Second of all, he has to fund the transaction of the NFT. So this is one behavior. What did we find out on top of that? He was paying like around about 90,000 US dollar in gas fee, but in that time span of just 2 months, he made 2.8 million in just selling NFT. So the gap is 30 times more than his investment. So this poses a huge problem, of course. If you are, for example, a Web3 company, like you're specifying on NFT trading, for example, you want to know if people on your platform, they do wash trading, right? Because this is just unserious. Right. And then to Maik.
And this is just an example for one behavior, right? So
yeah.
Wash trading is not the only thing happens outside in the world. So you have to make sure that you know about that, and there Chainanalysis comes into play. So we already have 17 trillion US dollars worth of transactions identified on blockchains. That is the biggest data set out of blockchain data in the world. For 78% of the value transfers, we know at least one counterparty. We know probably the sender or the receiver. That means we can classify this transaction. Is it risky? What kind of risk is associated? We have more than 1 billion addresses mapped to real-world entities. So that means we have a really, really good transparency into the players of the world of blockchain businesses. And to be honest, this is not monodirectional. It's not in one direction. Not only we providing that data to have that holistic data set. So it's coming also from our customers. That's a community approach. All of our customers are highly interested into sending us their insights back, because after we prove it, because we have a deterministic approach, once we prove it and validated that information, it will be part of that data set. And that's unique. What that means, for example, you all probably have heard about Hydra Market. So Hydra Market was shut down in spring last year. So it was the biggest darknet market in the world. So, and the OFAC has sanctioned Hydra market, and they know about 117 addresses. And I just want to show you here the power of our clustering algorithms. So they came with 117 addresses. We, based on our 400 plus algorithms, could extract 6.6 million addresses, wallet addresses belonging to Hydra market. So just to give you an example how powerful our algorithms are. And another example, so we know that Coinbase have 150 plus million addresses. Just another example. Due to the matter of time, I think I have to come to a conclusion and just to give you an advice. Even if you are not involved directly into cryptocurrency business, you have to understand you know about that third-party risk. So even if you are just having business probably with some business partner, you have to understand if that business partner is involved into any crypto business, and you have to understand if there is an associated risk too. And that, in that case, we also can help you with the right level and the right set of information. So we are here. We have a stand outside. If there is someone interested in to dig deeper, this was just a teaser. So our area is very, very colorful, and we are here to tell you more about that. Thank you very much.